question to try. Who thinks that they can give us, well, let me start asking these questions in a different way. So this first question, I'm just going to read through it and then we're going to talk about it a little bit. So if 24 sweets costs 84 Rand, how much will 32 sweets cost? So my first question to you is this direct proportion or is this inverse proportion? Which one is it? Who can tell me the answer to that? For question one, is question one direct or is it inverse? Don't be scared of me.
Try your best. Let's see. What do you think?
Just take a chance. Unmute yourself. Tell me the answer. If you're wrong, what's the worst that can happen? Then it's a 50-50 chance here of being right. So for question one, is it direct proportion or is it inverse proportion? Remember that direct proportion, both things are either increased together or decreased together, and inverse, one increases and one decreases. It says direct proportion, and that is absolutely correct. Okay, so if this is direct proportion, what can I use to help me? Nice job, Yolanda. What can I use to help me figure out my answer if it is direct proportion? Hello, Nam. Welcome. So far we know that it is direct proportion. What's the thing that we use when it's direct? Who remembers the magic words? No, coming back to anyone. Goodness gracious, we're so quiet this evening.
Oh, so great, guys. Isn't that hot?
No, clearly school was just like not a great day today, and I've just gotten everyone tired, or maybe they've come home from sports. So when we're working with direct proportion, we use ratio. And when we're using ratio, we can use our sneaky method that we learned with ratio. So we know that 24 sweets costs 84 Rand, and I want to know how much 32 sweets is going to cost. Who can tell me the answer? How much is 32 sweets going to cost? Who thinks they can tell me? Have a look at what I've done there for you for ratio and grab your calculators and tell me if you can figure out how much 32 sweets will cost. No takers, Mr. Shongwe. It's just you and me talking today.
Would you like to try? Ntokozo? Let's come to life. Let's come to life.
Yeah, come guys. Let's try and wake up a little bit.
Yeah, there's Ntokozo. Ntokozo is giving it a try.
Yes, Ntokozo, you're making my day.
I think it's gonna be 1,848 if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, did you multiply those numbers together?
Yes.
Okay, so some part of it is definitely multiplication. When we're working with ratio like this, the first thing we do is we divide up and then we times over. So with that on the board, do you think you'd be able to give that another try? So grab your calculator and take your 32, divide it by 24 and times it by 84. And then let me know what you get. Yes.
Well done, Toto.
Nice. And Ntokozo?
The answer is going to be 112.
Yes, there we go. Well done. Well done. Perfect. Okay. So when it is direct proportion, we use ratio. And when we use ratio, we use our sneaky method of dividing up times over. Okay. So let's just kind of write this over here. I'm just going to make this note a little bit better. So when we have direct proportion, we use ratio. And when we use ratio, we use our method of divide up times over. Okay, cool. That's our first question. Now we're going to move on to question 2. So for question 2, if it took 4 painters 15 days to paint a room, how long will it take 6 painters? Is that direct proportion or is that inverse proportion? Who feels brave? Chat to me. What about Unam? Unam, I don't know if I've heard your voice yet, and I want to. Can you tell me if that's going to be direct proportion or inverse proportion? No? Oh, I don't think Unam's connected to audio. Who have I not heard from a little bit? Who can we pick on, Mr. Shongwe? I'm calling
Lisa.
on you to do all the picking. You pick away.
Okay. Lisa, you go.
Lisa, we are wanting to know, is this direct proportion or inverse proportion?
Okay, Lisa is quiet. How about
Come
Ranzu?
on, Lisa.
Let's try Ranzu. Ranzu?
Oh, Luniko unmuted himself. Oh no, Lisa's here.
Luniko, yes. There we have a taker. Luniko.
Yes, go.
Inverse proportion, because
is
the question
inverse.
says that if it took
Yeah, carry on.
yeah,
You were saying
yes, because
beautiful
it
things.
says that if it took it says that if it took 4 painters to paint for 15 days, so it's obviously like it's inverse proportion.
Good. It's inverse because
Okay.
if I have more painters, it's going to take them less days. Excellent. Well done. Nice job, guys. So I
Well
know it's
done.
inverse proportion. And when I have direct proportion, I work with ratio. Does anyone remember? Someone got it in our last lesson. There's a sneaky word we use when we deal with inverse. What's the word we deal with in inverse proportion? Who thinks they can tell me? So like when we deal with direct, we think of the word ratio, and when we deal with inverse, we deal with this other word. This is becoming memory coming back to
Starts
anyone?
with C.
Yeah.
That's the hint. E-O.
Oh, no takers. When
Okay.
we're dealing with inverse, we have something called a constant product. Okay, and a constant product. Ah, yes, Lisa. Why didn't you take that mic and tell us? Okay, a constant product is definitely what we deal with an inverse. Okay, so in that case, we know that if I take that 4 and I multiply it by that 15, I'm going to get a number. And if I multiply the 6 by a number that I don't know, I have to get that same number. Okay, so if I say 4 times 15, I'm going to get a total of 60. So can anyone tell me what the answer for question 2 is? If it took 4 painters 15 days to paint a room, how long will it take 6 painters? I've tried to help you a little bit over here. Tell me what my answer is going to be. I'll give you some time to think. Tiana, I see you've unmuted. Do you want to tell us?
10.
10!
Well
Yes, well
done.
done. Guys, I love hearing your voices so much. Please just talk to me all the time. It makes me so happy. Okay, nice, guys. So it was 10. So this is just a very small summary of direct proportion and inverse proportion. I'm sure some of you will do it some more in school, but the most important thing is to be able to identify what it is. And once you have identified it, know that you're looking for a ratio or you're looking for a product. Okay. Mr. Shongo is just going to quickly talk to you about signing on to Watobe, and then we're going to get going on fractions.
Okay, everyone. Please make sure that you are signed up to the Watobe app, which is www.watobe.co.za. It will enable us to have your correct name and surname when we are on Zoom. So there's the link. I just sent that link. You can use that link and sign up, sign in. And then there's something else I need to talk about. It has to do with the subscription. So if you are in your 2nd week of your free trial, then you'll need your parent have already received a WhatsApp message from us, in the coming days. If they have not, they will receive it in the coming days with a payment link. All right, that's because if they do not enroll you now on the actual one, you will not be able to get these links going forward. So please tell your parents tonight that you want to continue with the program so that they will know and they will make the payment on time. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, guys, fractions. Fractions are our friends. And the first thing, so we're going to look at a little bit of each sort of thing with fractions, and we're going to end with mixed fractions by the end of this lesson. But when we do addition or subtraction of fractions, who thinks they can tell me what the most important thing is that we need to have when we deal with addition and subtraction of fractions? The most important thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say Pinky because that's all I've got in your name, but please tell me what you think the answer is going to be.
I think we need to make the denominators the same.
Yes, absolutely. Well done. Beautiful. We need to have common denominators. Okay. And just if anyone is feeling confused about that, in a fraction, the top number is our numerator and the bottom number is our denominator. So when we're saying common denominators, we need these guys to be the same as each other. Okay, and that's only the case for addition and subtraction of fractions. So that's the most important thing. So let's have a look at this first one. We've got a third plus 2 over 5. What do you think our common denominator would be in this question? So what would be the lowest common denominator? 15, Gershom. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so if I'm looking for a common denominator of 15, okay, that's what I want to have at the bottom. Now, some people like to write it as 2 different fractions. So I'm going to show you both ways. But when you get into long fractions, if you write it as 1, it's actually a little bit easier. Now, to get 15 down at the bottom, I'm just going to zoom in on here. I need to multiply that by 5. And what I do to the bottom of a fraction, I have to do to the top of a fraction. So 1 times 5 is going to be 5. And I need to multiply that by 3 to get to 15. And what I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. And I'm plussing those 2 numbers. So I land up with 5 plus 6 over 15, which gives me a total of 11 over 15. Now, if you're not comfortable writing it as 1 fraction like that, you absolutely can still write it as 2. So you can write 1 over 15 plus 6 over 15. And then because these, I don't know if this green is going to go great with my color coordination here. Let's change that. Because these are the same, I'm allowed to add my fractions. And so I land up with 11 over 15. Okay. So the most important thing here is getting a common denominator, and then we can add. Does anyone have any other questions about example 1 over here? Right. Example 2 is a little bit different because we have got this fraction over here. Does anyone know what its name is when we have a big number and then a fraction next to it? Tiana?
A mixed number.
Well
good,
done.
good. Beautiful. Okay, it's a mixed number. And in primary school, we love mixed numbers. But in high school, what do we prefer to mixed numbers? Can anyone think? My hint to you is that it would be a bit top heavy. Pinky?
Improper fractions.
Yeah, improper fractions. In high school, we like improper fractions. Okay, so whenever we have a fraction question, nice, Kia, I see that in the chat. The first thing we want to do is we want to change all mixed numbers to improper. That's the first thing we want to do. And if we just do that in our first step, it saves us a lot of time down the road. Now, some of you are like, oh, I know I can do it just by keeping it as a mixed number. And you absolutely can. But the problem is when we move down into harder algebra in grade 9 and in grade 10, when we bring x's involved here, then we need them to be improper. So we need to start embracing the improper fractions. Okay, so our first step here is I'm going to keep this 2 over 4. How am I going to change 1.5 to become an improper fraction? Can someone tell me what 1.5 is going to become as an improper fraction? Don't be scared. 3 over 2, beautiful, Asonge. So when we do an improper, we say this number times that one. So we say 2 times 1, which is 2, and then we plus the top one. So that's 3. So this is going to become plus 3 over 2. But what I would like you all to do is to grab your calculators for me quickly. So everyone grab your calculator. And I want you to, let me see if I can get this on video so it'll be easier for you to see. Okay, so this is your calculator. We're wanting to get this on the fraction. So I want to get a mixed number. So you're going to push shift. I know mine looks a little bit different to yours. So shift and then your fraction key over here. And you'll see that you get these 3 blocks like that, which we really like because that tells us that we're in a mixed fraction. And then you just put your numbers in. So I'm going to put 1 and 1 over 2. So you'll see I've got 1 and 1 over 2. And then you can just push equals. And you'll see down there, it does all the hard work for you. So our fractions on our calculators are very helpful if we're putting them in correctly. Okay, cool. So let's go back to this. So we've got 2 over 4 plus 3 over 2. Who feels brave enough to talk me through our next step over here? Take a leap and talk me through what I'm going to do next. Lisa? Ah, Tafadzwa, please talk us through. What am I going to do?
You have to make the denominators the same.
Okay, and so what am I going to make them?
I think you can multiply both of, you can multiply 4 by 2 and multiply 2 by 4.
Okay, I can absolutely do that. Beautiful. So where am I going to go to from there?
You're going to have 8 as a denominator and
Good.
And then 2 times 2 is 4 and
Good.
3 times 4 is 12.
Excellent.
And then you add them together, which is
Which would
going to
give me
be
what?
16.
Good. And what would my final answer be?
I think you have to check how many times 8 goes into 16,
Good.
which is 2.
Good. Beautiful. So you can keep your answers 2, or you could make it 2 over 1. That was so well done. Very beautifully answered. Nice job. There's another thing that we could have done. So we can absolutely make the denominator 8. Did anyone make it a different denominator? Did anyone have something else? I'm seeing. Oh, good. So we're getting some answers coming into the chat. Unam says 2. We couldn't have, oh, you know, we could have made it 2 because we could have simplified that to 1 over 2. We could have definitely made it 2. Another thing we could have done is made our denominator 4, but all of these would have taken us into the same direction when we'd get to the same answer. Okay. And now remember that if you see these in your tests, even if you're allowed calculators in the test and they say show all working, you need to show every single step. Otherwise you don't get the marks. Okay, so just be very careful with that. Okay, example 3, I'm going to give you a minute to try. So everyone give this one a go. And then if you're feeling confident with your answer, just use the little hands up emoji and you can talk us through. You guys are doing so well today. I'm very proud of you. And remember, if you're feeling super lost, then just make a comment and then we can help. We just need to know that you're struggling. Akabunga, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, tell me what to do. What's the first step I need to do?
The first thing is that you fix the improper fraction.
Good, I need to make it an improper. Excellent. So what's it going to become?
It's going to become 14 over 16. Over 6, I mean.
Oh, so did you change the denominator as well at the same time?
Oh, no, it's going to become 7 over 3, I mean.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay. No, it's okay. That was great. Okay, cool. What will be my next step?
The next step is you're going to have to find the same denominators,
Okay.
which is 6, because it's 3 times 2 and 7 times 2. And
Beautiful.
then
Next line.
the answer is going to be 14 over 6 minus 3 over 6.
Yes. And so my final answer is?
11 over 6.
Yes. Beautiful. Well done. Nice job.
Ooh,
Okay, we're going to do...
Asonge went a little bit further.
Asonge, so
went
you change it back into a mixed number. Totally fine. Normally, we only change back to mixed numbers in high school when we're dealing with word problems. So if they're asking like how many bags of potatoes or how many kilograms, then we would go back to a mixed number. But it's great that you feel confident on how to change it, which is awesome. Okay. Actually, I feel like your plussing and minusing is good. So I'm going to move past example 4 and we're going to move into multiplication of fractions. Now, in multiplication of fractions, do I need a common denominator? Yes or no? What do you think? No! Look at that big capital letter. I absolutely do not need a common denominator. Okay, we do not need a common denominator. So one of the things that my kids do the most is they make common denominators. Yes, Joe, and I know we just haven't done fractions in a long time, so don't panic. And it's difficult for us to get into algebra when we haven't done fractions. Okay, so we do not need a common denominator in multiplication of fractions. What do I do in this situation where I've got 2 over 3 times 1 over 5? What am I going to do? Come, guys. Where's this confidence? Joan, you're asking if this is grade 9? I feel like then this must be easy for you. You can answer me. Okay, so let's have a look. Kian's saying we multiply the 2 by 1, and then what else do? We have to do something else.
Well done.
Nice. Good. Okay, so when we in
Yeah.
multiplication of fractions, we multiply our numerators and we multiply our denominators. So we have 2 times 1, which is 2, and at the bottom we have 3 times 5, which is 15. And oh, Joan, I see. And now I'm trying to pick on you. Okay. Oh, shame, guys. Joan was in a grade 12 Zoom meeting. You must have been so confused. How long did it take before you realized? Did you just move back now? Oh, shame. That's horrifying. Shame, Joan, I'm sorry. Okay. So we multiplied our numerators and then we multiplied the denominators and we get 2 over 15 and we end there. Okay, cool. Example 2. What is the first thing that I have to do? As soon as we see it, our brain should flash and we should know what to do. Tell me. Asonge, unmute that self. Tell me what the first thing I have to do is. And silence. I'll even give you guys a hint. Yes, Lisa.
Pinky says improper
Yes.
fraction. Yes.
Good. Thank you, Pinky. And Lisa, nice. We have to change that to an improper fraction. Okay. Songe, I'm coming back to pick on you later, though, just so you know. Okay. So we need to change this to an improper. So we're going to say 3 times 1, which is 3. And then we're going to plus that 1, which is 4. And so we're going to have 4 over 3 times 4 over 7. And what is my answer going to be? Let's see. Who thinks they can get this one? Pumi, I see that you are unmuted. Do you have the answer for us? Gersham's jumped ahead. Nice job. It is definitely 16 over 21. 16 over 21. So what we had to do here was we had to say 4 times 4, which is 16, and 3 times 7, which is 21. Okay, in example 3, we're going to look at some cross simplification. So again, the first thing I have to do is I have to change this to an improper fraction. What is that fraction going to become? What is 2 1/4 going to become? 9 over 4. Beautiful. Lisa, don't forget that denominator there. Okay, 9 over 4 times 2 over 5. Now we've got 2 different options that we could do here. We could do it the same way that we've been working. So 9 times 2 is 18, and 4 times 5 is 20. And then we could simplify that down. And so we would say, okay, well, I could divide both of those by 2, and then I would have 9 over 10. I can do it that way. That's one way I can do it. But another way that I can do these questions, which is going to help us a lot when we get to algebra, is cross simplification. Okay, so let's just go through how to do cross simplification. I'm going to talk you through this one nice and slowly, and then I'm going to let you do example 4 by yourself. So I've got 9 over 4 times 2 over 5. When we do cross simplification, we have to take a numerator and a denominator. We have to have one top and one bottom. We can't have 2 tops and 2 bottoms. Okay. Now, if I look at 9 and 5, there's no number that can go into both of those. So there's nothing I can do. I can't simplify them. But if I look at 2 and 4, 2 can go into 2 and 2 can go into 4. So I can say, well, 2 can go into 2 one time and 2 can go into 4 2 times. So what I'm left with is 9 over 2 times 1 over 5. And then if I do my multiplication, 9 times 1 is 9, 2 times 5 is 10. You will see we get exactly the same answer. Is anyone struggling with the concept of cross simplification or hasn't seen it before and this is feeling very confusing? Let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to let you try one yourselves.
Ma'am, can you explain again?
I absolutely can. How about I show you it with a different fraction? So let's give some more space here. I can absolutely do another example. Okay. Thanks for asking, guys. Let's do one where there's a double thing. So I'm going to have 7 over 10 times 4 over 21. Okay, let's say those are my fractions. I'm going to look at my numerator and my denominator. What number can go into 7 that can also go into 21? What number can go into both of those numbers?
7.
Good, 7. Well done. Nice job, guys. So 7 can go into itself one time, and 7 can go into 21 3 times. So we can do a cross simplification. Excellent, guys. You're doing so well today. Then we're going to look at this 10 and this 4. What number can go into both of those numbers? 2. Good, Gershom. So 2 can go into 4 2 times, and 2 can go into 10 5 times. So I'm left with 1 over 5 times 2 over 3. Sorry, it was just a bit messy. And 1 times 2 is 2, and 5 times 3 is 15. So that would be my final answer. And cross simplification becomes very, very important for us when we move into algebra. So it's an important thing to understand. Do you feel a little bit better after the second one? Do you feel ready to try one alone?
Yes, ma'am.
Beautiful. Okay, I'll leave these on the board so you can see them as an example, but I'd like you all to give example 4 a try for me. Just do your best with it. Think about what numbers can go. I'll try and highlight them for you so you can sort of get a picture. We're looking at these 2 numbers, and then we're looking at these 2 numbers. Tiana, are you wanting to try answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you?
Nice.
Okay.
That's the
Let's do
spirit.
it sort of step by step. What could I do with the 5 and the 25?
Okay, so 5 can go into 25 5
Oh.
times, and then 5 can only go into itself once.
Good. 5 and 1. Excellent. What about my 6 and my 12?
And then 6 can go into itself once, and 6 can go into 12 twice.
Beautiful. So I land up with 1 over 1 times
And
2 over 5. And so Tiana, what's my final answer?
2 over 5.
Yes. Nice job. Great work, guys. I'm super proud of you. You're doing super well. Oh, Asonge, I should have picked you on for this one. Okay. So we're going to move into division of fractions because it's very similar to multiplication of fractions. We just have to do one step before we do the multiplication. So let's have a look at this one over here. First of all, with division of fractions, we also don't need a common denominator. We only need a common denominator for plussing and minusing. Okay? When we do a division, we have to do something first. We've got to do a trick. Does anyone think they can tell me what I have to do when I'm dividing a fraction? I do have to multiply. I just have to do something before I can multiply. Pinky, what do I have to do?
You have to flip the other fraction around.
I have to flip it around. Absolutely. Good. Okay. So what we do is we keep the first one, and I'm going to write these letters so you eventually see what I'm writing. So we're going to keep this first one. We're going to say 2 over 5. We're going to flip the second one to make it 3 over 1. And then we're going to change the sign. And everyone should know KFC. It's around everyone's corner, okay? KFC is a nice, easy thing to remember. And when we see division of fractions, we can think KFC. We keep the first fraction, we flip the second fraction, and we change the sign. And it's that easy. And as soon as we've done that, we've just got a normal multiplication sum, which we know how to do because you've been doing it in the last ones. So 2 times 3 is 6, and 5 times 1 is 5, and we can leave it like that as an improper fraction. So when we've got a division sum, we do KFC. Keep, flip, change. Okay, let's try. I'm going to just move on one for you. Let's see if I can try and keep both of these on the same screen. Okay, give example 2 a try for me. Remember your KFC. And if you're feeling good with your answer, you're welcome to talk us through. You can also do the thing that we just learned about, the cross-simplifying with this question. So you can kind of combine your knowledge.
We have Yolanda. Yolanda, would you like to take us through?
Is she coming up? No? Oh, Yolanda, hello.
Hello.
Hi, tell me what I must do.
You should flip the numbers 21 over 6 over 21.
So I'm going to flip that one around.
Yes.
Okay, now what can I do to make my life a bit easier?
And then you will multiply. We will multiply 3.
I can? Yeah, I can definitely multiply these guys. I'm just going to land up with a really big number. Is there something I can do that we did in these questions over here with this one? Do you think, is there something that you can see that I could do with this number and this number to make it a bit easier for us? And this one and this one. Your friends are trying to help you in the chat there with cross simplification. Do you want me to talk through this one?
Yes.
Kia, I see you've unmuted. Can you jump in and help?
Yeah, so the first thing you can do is see how many times 3 goes into itself, which is once.
Okay.
And then you see how many times it goes into 6, it's just twice.
Good.
And then you look at how many times 7 goes into 7 once.
Yep.
And how many times does it go into 21? 3 times.
Beautiful. So we land up with 1 over 1 times 3 over 2. And so our final answer is?
3 over 2.
Beautiful. Now, Yolanda, what you would have done, you absolutely would have gotten to the same point. So there was nothing wrong with the way that you were doing it. It just is you dealing with big numbers. So this just makes life a little bit easier. Okay. Before we jump into some mixed fractions, I think let's do a puzzle. Who won our puzzle on Tuesday? I can't remember who it was, and I need to keep a log of our winners. Who has won them? Oh, don't worry, we will definitely do more examples. Don't panic. Who has won our puzzle so far? Does anyone remember? Gershom.
Gershom, yeah.
Gershom, have we not had another winner as well? Has it just been Gershom? I thought we had a second winner. Okay. All right, let's do one more of these and then we'll try and sneak up our puzzle in and then we will do some mixed fractions. Okay, the only difference with this is I've now got 2 division signs, but we still do the same thing. Okay, I don't want you to panic when you see a question like this. So look at the first 2 fractions and we're going to do our KFC from there. Okay, so we're going to keep our first fraction. We're going to flip the second fraction and we're going to change the sign. Okay, and then we look at, well, let's just write this out over here. Divided by 6 over 21. Okay, and then we do the exact same thing, but over here now. Now we're going to do KFC over there. So we're going to have 3 over 7 times 21 over 6. So we're keeping our first one. We're flipping our second one. And we are changing the sign. And this is going to be a big, ugly number. So there's one place that you can do to try and simplify things a little bit for yourself. I'm going to try and help you out a little bit with that. And then we'll try and move on to some mixed numbers. We may need to skip the puzzle today. Try see if you can simplify a little bit with those. Add the same Lisa, what are you meaning about adding the same numbers?
Six.
Okay, so let's have a look at what we would do here. 3 can go into itself 1 time and into 6 2 times. 7 can go into itself 1 time and into 21 3 times. And I'm just going to write that out as a separate step. So we have 3 over 2 times 21 over 6. Okay, and now we can do some more simplifying. So I've got a 3 here and I've got a 6 over here. And my 3 can go into itself once and into 6 2 times. And that's as far as I can go. So I land up with 1 times 21, which is 21, and 2 times 2, which is 4. And I think Kia landed up getting there, which was great. I think those of you who got 9 over 4, I think you took this 7 and you simplified it into both of those 21s, but you're only allowed to do it into one. You can't do it into multiple things, only into one. Nice, this one, get 21 over 4, which is 5 1/4. Excellent. Okay, we're just going to do some mixed fractions. Because you've got a quiz happening today, so we're going to skip over the puzzle today. We're going to jump into some mixed fractions, just because I want to make sure you're fully prepared before you do your quiz just now. Ooh, where did you go, fractions? They've run away from me. Okay, let's have a look. So when we look at mixed fractions, we need to think about our bed mass or our bod mass, however you've learned it at school. Okay, and it doesn't matter whichever one you've done is fine. So bed mass, bod mass means the same. Brackets, exponents or of, D for division, M for multiplication. So this is brackets, that's an exponent, that's division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Okay, so if I'm looking at this question, the first thing I have to do is my brackets. I have to do my 2 over 5 plus my 1 over 3. Now, for an addition of fractions, what do I need? As soon as we see addition of fractions, what's the thing we need to think of that we need? I know you know the answer here. Come on. For addition and subtraction of fractions? Oh, I see I have a taker. Common denominator.
Oh,
exactly. Okay, when we have a plus and minus in fractions, we need a common denominator. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is we need to get a common denominator here, which is going to be 15. So we're going to times that by 3, and we're going to times that by 5, and we land up with 6 plus 5 over 15 divided by 3 over 15. Okay, so we have 6 plus 5, which is 11 over 15. What do we do in a division situation with a fraction? What are the 3 letters we think of when we see division?
KFC.
Yes, KFC. Thank you. Okay, we're going to keep our first fraction. We are going to flip our second fraction and we are going to change the sign. Okay, now that we are multiplying, what is something we're going to look out for to make our life a little bit easier before we multiply those numbers? What are we going to see if we can do? Something we're going to look out to see if we can do. My hint to you, yes, a song here. Yes. Okay, we're going to see, can we cross simplify? Okay, and if we can cross simplify, then we do cross simplify because that makes our life a bit easier. In this case, 15 goes into itself once and into itself once. So we have 11 over 1 times 1 over 3. Let me write that out for you. 11 over 1 times 1 over 3, which gives us a total of 11 over 3. Okay. All right, let's see how you cope with example 2. Do your best. Just do it step by step, guys. So do one thing at a time. Just try and focus on the first thing which we have to do is looking at those brackets. It's our first job. So get yourself your common denominator. Then think about KFC. Think about cross simplifying. Okay, we've got our first answers coming through. Very exciting. Okay. I'm going to talk you through this and then I'm going to leave you with Mr. Shongwe to get you onto your quiz and get you ready for your quiz for this week. And you have done so well to get there, guys. I'm so proud of you. Just keep talking. Like every week when we see each other, I just want you to talk as much as possible. I love it. I love hearing your voices. Okay, so the first thing we needed to do was get a common denominator in our brackets, but there already was one, which made it nice and easy. So we can actually just add those. So 5 plus 5 is 10, and our common denominator is 3. So it's going to be 10 over 3. Okay, next step, we're going to think of KFC. So we're going to keep our first fraction. We are going to flip our second fraction, and we are going to change the sign. Next step, we're going to see, can we cross simplify? And we can. 5 goes into itself once and into 10 2 times. 3 goes into itself once and into 9 3 times. So we land up with 1 over 3 times 1 over 2, which is 1 over 6. So all of you who got that, a big well done. It has been so lovely being with you this evening, and I will see you again on Tuesday. But Mr. Shongwe is going to help you get onto the quiz now and get you to the links that you need. Okay, so it was lovely seeing you, lovely hearing from you. I hope to hear from you again more on Tuesday. Talk, 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 talk.